Good morning, ladies. Well, at least it's morning when I'm doing the video. It may not be morning when you watch it. I'm sitting here and watching it rain outside. It's gorgeous. What makes my hair, you can tell from my hair, it's raining outside. My hair gets about 4 inches shorter when it's raining. But anyway, it's a blessing, I know. And this month, I have a voice thing going on, so I feel like every time I make a video, I'm sharing some illness with you. That's not really my life, but it just happens to be my life right now. I'm coming off of laryngitis. This is better. I tried to sing last night at church and sounded like a frog, but at least it was coming from my heart. Anyway, I've got my coffee. Got my coffee this morning, my mom cup. My daughter sent me, said I was a ray of sunshine, sent me this mom cup. We're going to chat. We're going to chat this morning. I told you I'm wanting to make these videos where we feel like we're sitting and having coffee together and just talking. I'm doing the talking this time. But again, we'll on Zoom, and hopefully we'll get to hook up on Zoom and we can talk about things. We'll just talk about our lives. As I'm making this video, it's the week before Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving, actually. So we're preparing to go to Oklahoma, where we'll get to be with 4 of our kids. So I'm excited about that. 4 of our kids and 6 of our grandkids and 1 of our bonus kids. So we get to be all together for Thanksgiving. And I'm feeling so blessed by that. And I know all of us are at different phases of our life, and it's this week of Thanksgiving and focusing on things we're thankful for. And I know that even when you're in the middle of something hard, something difficult, some obstacle that has been placed in your path, it's easy if you step back, or it's easier on you and on your heart and on your mind if you step back and you count those blessings, count the things you're grateful for. One of the things I was grateful for was I woke up this morning. That's always a good day. You get to wake up and start your day off, that God saw He needed you still another day here on this earth. So that's a good day. So as we're looking at this, what are we grateful for? And talking about that from a mama viewpoint and raising our children. And we're wanting children that are grateful. We're wanting children that don't feel entitled, but they're grateful for the blessings in their lives. And I love watching you as mamas, and I'm an observer. I love watching people and gathering from their lives and seeing who they really are. So sometimes you'll find me standing in the foyer, not even visiting with people, but kind of watching people, because I just love that. But I watch you with your kids, and I see how you're raising them, and you're teaching them to be respectful, and you're teaching them to love Jesus, because you're there for one thing. So I love watching that. So I know you're wanting these children that are grateful, that don't expect everything to be handed to them. And so I'm watching that with you. I loved here last Sunday or Sunday before last, whatever it was. It was the Adopt a Child. I don't know what group it was, but we were adopting children. We were looking at the little cards, and I had one of the daddies walked up next to me and was picking out children. He said, I'm wanting them to match the ages of my children. And I said, oh, that's wonderful. And I walked away and I thought, that really is wonderful. It's showing your children, this life isn't just about you and what you get and what you have, because I know all of us have so many toys or so many clothes or so many things that our children have that we don't have enough storage space for it. That's how most of us live. So we know we have an abundance, and understanding that there are people out there that they don't. And it's hard for us to wrap our hearts and our minds around that, because we are so over and abundantly blessed. Now, it doesn't mean that those people aren't blessed. They're blessed in different ways. But God has provided us an opportunity at Memorial. I mean, every week it's some group of children or some group of families that we can bless. And I love that. I love how we can use that to teach our children to be grateful and to be those people that open their heart. In fact, I want to take you to 1 John. want to take you to First John. If you don't know yet, John is my favorite of the writers. The Gospel of John gets me every time. I just love, he has that passion. He's the beloved. He has that heart of love. And then these letters that he writes, you just hear that in these letters. Now, he's also called one of the sons of thunder. So you kind of hear thunder rumbling sometimes in John's writing. But he's got a heart of love. Anyway, I want to take you to 1 John chapter 3. 1 John chapter 3. Let's see, where do I want to start? I'm going to start... Wow, I should have had this figured out, I guess. Okay, I think I'm going to start in verse 15. Verse 15 of chapter 3. Everyone who hates his brother is a murderer, and you know that no murderer has eternal life abiding in him. Okay, we get that. If you're a murderer, you obviously hated somebody or something, so that does not reflect the heart of Jesus. Okay, verse 16. We know love by this. In fact, as you go through 1 John, you circle those we know, or you know, or he's telling us, you know this. In fact, he's writing this letter. I didn't intend for this to be a Bible study, but I can't help this part. He's writing this letter to remind them of things they already knew, and they're kind of straying away and they're kind of forgetting. That's me. I think that's one of the reasons I love 1 John, because it's so easy to get caught up in day-to-day life, and I kind of wander away from what I know, and I can read 1 John, and he brings me back, and he says, remember what you know? So anyway, wherever I was, 16. We know love by this, that he laid down his life for us, and we ought, and that word ought it means must. We have this moral obligation. We have a moral obligation to lay down our lives for the brethren. So because Jesus died for us, I'm going to lay aside Tammy for you, for those around me. And I'm going to be watching for ways to do that. Verse 17. But whoever has the world's goods, and that's all of us, we have the world's goods, and beholds his brother in need and closes his heart against him, how does the love of God abide in him? If you see someone that's in need, and like I said, we've had all of these children placed before us in need, and we close our heart against them, he says, how does the love of God abide in you? See, those are scary. And those are reminders that I need. But he goes on. He says, little children, let us not love with word or with tongue, and that's easy for us to do. Oh, I love you so much. Oh, I love you, but I never do anything for you. He says, let us not love with word or with tongue, but in deed and truth. Let's show each other that we love each other. Verse 19, we shall know by this, and that is by our actions, that we are of the truth, and shall assure our heart before him, before Jesus. In whatever our heart condemns us, for God is greater than our heart, and he knows all things. He knows when I say I love you, God knows my heart. He knows what's going on there, especially if I'm saying I love you and I'm not doing anything about it. Verse 21, beloved, if our heart does not condemn us, we have confidence before God. And whatever we ask, we receive from him because we keep his commandments and do the things that are pleasing in his sight. And I want to go back. I want to go on here. And he talks about the commandments. I think sometimes, and I know I've said this probably in a different video, especially when I was talking about Jesus. So often we think commandments. When we think commands, we're thinking the 10 Commandments, and we're thinking all this list of rules that we've created out of Scripture. We've pulled out and gone, these are the things you have to check off to make sure you're keeping commandments. Well, he's going to tell us right here what those commandments are. He says, he just said, and whatever we ask, we receive from him because we keep his commandments and do the things that are pleasing in his sight. And he's just talked about, that's what you're going to show love, you're going to do. Verse 23, and this is his commandment. This is his commandment. That we believe in the name of his son, Jesus Christ. We believe that Jesus Christ is his son, is the Messiah, Jesus Christ. Christ isn't his last name, Jesus the Messiah. We believe that, and we love one another. just as he has commanded us. And the one who keeps his commandments, that we believe Jesus is the Messiah, he is the Son of God, and we love others, we abide in him, and he in him, and God abides in us. And we know by this that he abides in us by the Spirit whom he's given us. And so we know that when I am baptized into Christ, I'm given that gift of the Spirit. And so I know his love abides in me. And because it does, I'm going to act on that love. I'm going to do for others. So at this time of Thanksgiving, at this time of being grateful for what we have, and we're moving into the Christmas gift-giving season, what a perfect transition as we're sharing with our children that we are so grateful. In fact, I posted a thing probably on the mom's page on Facebook, and then on Sisters at Memorial, where a family had taken each of their children, goes into their room and gathers things that they want to give. They're going to give away. Now, as a mama, I would make sure it's not the doll that her legs are broken off or that she used Sharpie marker on. That's me. The doll they cut the hair off of, that was me. I was going to beauty school when I was 6. So anyway, but it's those good things that they've just outgrown. It's something you wouldn't be embarrassed to give somebody else. Not the stuffed animal that got wiped up the chocolate milk. You don't want that one, not that one. But teaching them that it's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice to give. They don't have to give their favorite, but teaching them that it's a sacrifice. Anyway, so this family each child would fill a bag, and I loved this. If you're a Santa Claus, if you're not, I'm not judging you, but they would put the bag at the Christmas tree so that Santa could take it and share with children that didn't have anything. And I thought, what a great lesson. You start that at Thanksgiving. Start that at Thanksgiving, all of these things that you are blessed with, all of these wonderful things that God has blessed you with, teaching your children this, to be grateful for what they have, but then bleeding that over into not only are we grateful for what we have, but because God has given us Jesus and we have that love. He loved us so much, he laid down his very life for us. Because of that, I'm going to teach my kids love does. That's what my shirt says. I did that on purpose. Love does. Because I have been so blessed, because God did for me. He loved me. This has turned into a Bible lesson, and that wasn't my intention, but here we go. And so because he loved me, I'm going to do for others. So teaching your children, look how blessed we are. And now how can we share that? What can we do? How can we give? And I understand, man, when my kids were little, extra money didn't exist. It really didn't. It was hard for us. So for us to give to others, and I'm not patting us on the back, but it was a sacrifice. It really was at that point. And my children knew that it was a sacrifice. That if we were going to share with a family that had nothing, because we were blessed, a family that had nothing, it's going to be a sacrifice for us. There were things we were going to give up so that we could bless somebody that didn't have anything. And then this is just part of teaching your children. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. It's just teaching your children, especially right now. We should be thankful all the time, but it's giving that focus between Thanksgiving and Christmas. There's no better time of year than to start that practice and then bleed that practice in to your life all the time. What can we do? How can I show people that I'm not closing my heart to them? Finding ways. Now, it's an area for me where it's easy for me to start feeling guilty. What else could I do? Oh, I'm not doing enough. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself either. And I have to remind myself of that as well. Just do something. Just do something. One thing. It starts with one thing. showing that I genuinely love you. We live in a world of technology, obviously. Live in a world of technology. I love that I can text. I'm so not a phone person. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I will. If you have something to share with me, I'm a listener. I'm just not good at chit chat. But anyway, and I've raised 5 children that are all those people, so we never talk on the phone. But I love texting. I love that I can do that. But finding ways to reach out and do and show others that we love them. Finding those ways with your kids so that they are, in fact, our job is to prepare them to be adults that behave that way. And so it's that preparing them that love does. Love is an action. So how do we do that? We start with sibling interaction or child and parent interaction. That because I love you, I'm going to protect you, and because I love you, I'm going to make sure you have clothing. Because I love you, I'm going to feed you, and because I love you, I'm going to hold you and squish you and give you kisses. One of my granddaughters yesterday had called for my birthday, and she said, "Oh, Grandma," she's 6. She goes, "Oh, Grandma, I cannot wait for hugs." I'm like, "Yay, me either." But we're teaching them that love does. And then we also teach them, because you love me, you're going to let me hug you. You're going to let me kiss on you. Or you're going to, when Mom says, pick up your room or whatever, you're going to do that. Or when Mom says, can you share with me, how was your day? Especially those teenagers, when they don't want to talk. It's like, okay, wait, I know she loves me. And I love her. I'll give her 2 minutes, kind of thinking. But it is raising your children where they understand that love is an action. It's not just words. It's an action. So again, don't be too hard on yourself. It starts in your home. It does. Of showing your family. That's why you fix them dinner. Because you got to eat. And it feels like a responsibility. But teaching that it's a gift you're giving. It's a gift you're giving your family because you love them. So that's my encouragement for you. As we're going from Thanksgiving into Christmas, let's open our hearts. Let's open our hearts to those around us. Let's make some sacrifices. I think of Jesus when he's sitting there in the temple and he's watching people give their contribution. And he's watching, and in scripture it says, and I can't find it. I mean, I could go find it, but I'm not going to right now. It says that the rich people were giving a little of their abundance. They were just giving a little bit of their abundance, their overflow. And then the woman came through and gave the 2 coins, gave everything she had. She sacrificed. And that's what he's looking for. And so finding ways to sacrifice, showing that love. What does it look like? Ask. And this is something I wish I did it some with my kids, because as they got a little older, I realized if I would ask them, okay, you're going to be punished for this. What do you think it should be? They were harder on themselves. But include your kids in this. As you're talking about, okay, if that's a sacrifice, if that means, talk about what sacrifice is. How Jesus came and died. Well, he's not asking us to literally die, but he's asking us to put others first. So ask them, what could we do? What would that look like? And make you a list of people. Let them make the list of people. Who are people they want to show love to? And how does that look? And what does that look like? Now I know life is busy. Oh, there goes my coffee maker. Life is busy. So you may be thinking, great, one more thing through the holidays to put pressure on me. Nah, just talk about it in the morning with your kids, or talk about it in the evening at bedtime with your kids, and ask them, what can we do? What can we do this Christmas season, this Thanksgiving? We're so grateful for what we have. As we're going into Christmas, it's a time of giving. What can we do? What can we do? And that's how you're preparing them to open their heart. We don't want to be those people that close their heart. We don't want to be that. So, and I know you're doing such a great job. Like I said, I stood there with that daddy and he's picking those names so that his kids could do that, could go shopping for these children. I loved it. And you guys are doing such a wonderful job. You are. I'm just encouraging you to keep it up. Keep it up. Try something different. Try something different. So we'll do our Zoom meeting, hopefully, next week, and we'll talk. Bring you a cup of coffee. Now I won't because it's 8 o'clock at night, so it'll be water because I want to sleep. But get you whatever beverage you need, and let's talk. Let's talk. Come to the Zoom ready to share. I don't need to do all the talking. I don't have to do that. I want to hear from you. What are you planning? What are you looking at? How do you see love doing in your family through the holiday season? I'd love to hear. Everybody needs fresh ideas. Everybody needs something to share. So come and let's talk about it. Let's just chit chat. Well, I know I told you I wasn't good at chit chat, but I'll let you and I'll listen. I love you all. And on the Zoom, we're going to pray together. We're going to pray together too. So if you have prayer requests, keep those in mind. You might make you a little list, and we'll share those things with the Lord together. Love you all. Hope your Thanksgiving is wonderful. Count those blessings. We've all got them. Love ya.